Continuing our web series on the new Google Sites, we're going to cover shared editing rights, restricted publishing rights, and live collaboration. Now, all the things I just mentioned are really great features. The coolest thing, of course, is in an effort to bring sites more in line with the rest of the G Suite of tools, they have added active collaboration. Now, classic sites users will know that you cannot edit a page if another editor is editing that same page. That is no longer the case, and I will demonstrate all that in this video. A few very important things that we're going to talk about in the video is that the sharing of editing rights is not the same as sharing the site itself. That is to say, the little share guy up here in the top right next to the publish button does not work the same way currently as of December 2016 as the share button works in other places in Google Drive or in G Suite. So we're going to talk about what that means as well, and let's go ahead and just sort of jump into this. All right, you've been creating a site's beautiful, you got some pages built, maybe you just built the site, you haven't done anything, but you know that you're going to need to invite other people to help you build the page. That is what this share button is for. And in Google Sites currently, it is not truly a share button, it is an add editors button. So if I go up here and click add editors, I get a very familiar, if you're a Google Drive user, window. But again, this is only for adding editors to your site. So this is the link that will allow collaborators to get to the editing of the site. So you can paste it in the chat, paste it into an email, that sort of thing. Down here where it says invite people, you just start typing in the email address or the name of the person you want to add. In this instance, I'm going to add my other email account. And this one is outside of our system, so I will get a friendly pop-up reminder that says, hey, this person doesn't work for our system. Are you sure you want to give them editing rights to the site? And so on and so forth. It can be very helpful to have that pop up to make sure that you aren't moving too fast, grabbing the wrong email for the person that you're trying to send the invite to. Now by default, it is going to send them an email that says, hey, you've been given editing rights to this site. You can have yourself sent a copy of that email, and you can even add a custom message. Okay. And when I'm happy with what I've got here, I'll go ahead and hit send. Now, you don't necessarily have to send an email, so you could have checked that box off, and you could just add editors to the site, however you wanted. And then when you were ready, you could have sent an email out and provided this link up here in the email and said, hey, I built a site, you're all editors on the site, I'm ready for you guys to go in there and help me edit it. Here's the link to get to it. Now keep in mind that part of what makes this so great is that it also shows up in their drive. So it would show up in the shared with me section that they had received a new site. You can see right here, I got 6th grade media shared with me, Department of Student Services shared with me. So I have access to these through my drive. So if they're a drive user and they kind of pay attention to what's going on, even if you didn't send them an email notifying them, they could still discover, hey, I've been given editing rights to the site. So there's a number of ways that they'll have access to the site once you give them editing rights. Now, what else can we do here? Well, you have two options. You can turn your editor into an owner, and keep in mind, there can only be one owner of a site, so if you hand over ownership of your site to someone else, you cannot get it back. The other option that you have here is a very important one, and that is to check this box down here that says prevent editors from publishing, changing access, and adding new people. Now by default, anyone you give editing rights to is going to be able to invite more people to edit and also publish any changes that are made to the site whenever they feel like it. Now, maybe the people you've added as editors are completely trustworthy, very professional, very good at what they do. In that case, I'm sure it would be a boon to have them also able to publish. Now, if you are a teacher and you are creating a website for your students to build and work on, it is highly recommended that you check this box so that the students can build the site, but you get to look the whole site over before it gets published to the World Wide Web. So a very important button right there. If you do want to have this feature, you will have to save changes after you check the box. And from now on, people who create changes through editing to your site, you will be the final say on whether or not those changes go live. Now, one last thing to talk about while we're here. Where it says specific people can edit, there will be the word change in blue, ... If I click on that, some very unusual options show up. And that is, I can make the entire world have access to and editing rights to my website. I'm currently not sure why you would do that, but I do want to talk about it. So if you find yourself here on the broad link sharing, you really need to be asking yourself, why am I here? Why do I want to give complete strangers access to my website? Anyone with the link, anyone who works for the school system, anyone who works for the school system and has the link. Really, I don't see any reason at this point to be using these features, so I would just leave it on off and then handpick who you want to have editing rights to your site. One more time, this menu is not controlling who your audience is. This is controlling who can edit your site. All right. With that out of the way, let's go ahead and talk about collaboration. So I have sent my other account editing rights to this page. So if my other account accesses the site at the same time that I do, I can see that they're logged into the site at the same time as me. And if they start making changes to the site, I see those changes as they happen. Very cool stuff. So if they start adding pictures or text or whatever, I will see those changes as they happen. And I can even see who is causing those changes to happen. Now, I have this site locked down, so they are not able to publish it. I'm the only one that can publish it. So I can go through and see the changes that these other people have made and decide for myself, are these changes that I want published or not? Even though the other Barrett put this picture in, I might decide, hey, this isn't the right picture. Let's go ahead and replace the image. With this. There we go. Yeah, much better. Or they may have added some text, and the text was, needed some spell checking, some grammar. I could go in there and edit their text before we go ahead and publish the page to the internet. I can kind of scan through and see what's going on. Unfortunately, at this time, the cool revision history, user activity tracking, and all the other great features of Google Docs, Sheets, and Slideshow are not available in new sites. So unless I saw this other user create this content, I currently have no way to know who created what, who added what, or even if new stuff got added from the last time I was there. I have to eyeball it and tell, oh, okay, new picture was added, new text box was added. So at this current stage, and again, this is December 2016, so we're early in this program, you will need a certain amount of communication going on with your fellow editors to know who exactly is adding what, who's building what, and what changes are being made. I have no doubt that as this program continues to be fully rolled out and developed, there will be a revisions history that tracks users and their activity and all that good stuff. But currently, there is no way to know who did what on the site, and there's no way to kind of access a history and roll things back to a different revision. So if one of your editors goes in and they really mess up the page, there's not too much you can do to salvage it other than to rebuild it and correct the mistakes that were made. So keep that in mind moving forward. And I believe that's everything we could talk about currently for collaborative editing, sharing of editing rights, and restricting of publishing rights.